is 10:10.
Good morning, Tanya.
Good morning, Adiba. So, as usual, so happy to be here with you today.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that I was sharing that on Facebook so that way I could have it on my page as well. I think we're good to go.
Yes, so it's I have it on the group going. So I'm really excited. This is our 7th episode and published them on the podcast as well. So it's really exciting to start sharing that with people that I know. You can find it on if you use Spotify, it's on there, which is pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. We're famous. We've reached people.
But I love it.
I love it because we're learning and learning and relearning and refreshing our knowledge. And expanding and sharing it with others is so empowering. It's exciting to know because that's how my habits changed, and that's how that's how I grow and evolve and step into a better version of me every day, is by learning from others. So I'm always excited to be able to share somehow, in hopes that one little thing that we might share here can really transform someone's life in a great positive way. So, and thank you for doing this with me, because you keep me on track. You can hold me accountable. It's like, I gotta be on here at 10:10.
Well, and it's been fun, and like you were just saying, it's also really good to, we all get into, life gets busy. It's really good to be reminded about, some of these topics that we talked about, and just kind of self-awareness, self-improvement. It's just an ongoing process. So, did you freeze?
Yeah. And
oh no.
Yeah, it was just for a second there. Mm-hmm. We want to, I'm looking forward, because I've asked some of my friends, and I posted on Facebook, that anyone that, is really passionate about healthy living naturally, without complicating it and simplifying it and living well, that would like to come on and chat with us, just reach out to one of us. Because we'd like, I envision in the future we have a couple of guests come on, sharing their experiences, and that's how we that's how we do grow the community, is by sharing what we know, and inviting others to do the same. And I'm really excited about today's talk. Not that I'm not excited every time, but
I know, I agree with you, but it's such a hot topic. It is. And it has been for a few years, and I'm excited about being able to talk about, how this plays such a bigger role in our lives than you may think. And, the connection between the mind and our digestive system.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense just looking back at my, childhood growing up, and how sick I was, and the change, just from my 20s, and when I, late 20s, when I started learning more about, just healthier eating, and really making that connection, how my mood has been impacted, how my anxieties, how my focus, how, so much. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. I grew up with, not, what is it? TMI here, TMI information for you. But that my bowel movements were horrible. Like, I would just go sit on the potty and just not have a movement, Mm-hmm. Sorry about the TMI, but sometimes we just have to.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it's a big issue for everybody in general nowadays, whether it be adults or kids, and it's something that we don't talk about enough. Yeah. And that's why we're here today, so we can really make it a focus and just make it normal, fun and normal. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's okay.
Talking about poop is fun.
Oh, it's hilarious. I love it.
With a little bit of understanding. And I know, probably a lot of people already have this information, but about, what is our gut and what's happening in there. And then, Tania, you'll share some great information about our gut and get a little bit more focused on our children and the mood and how all that is impacted by what we eat and our gut health. And then we'll share a little bit about a way to kind of jumpstart and kind of get a clean slate in your gut, and what we can do to also support you in that process. I want to remind everyone, we always say that we're not here as doctors, medical advisors, or anything like that. We just want to share from our hearts as two moms, and for you to take that information and make sure that you check with your own physician. If you have any medical concerns, take this information, share it with your doctor. But we're really here to open up the questioning and the possibilities for you, so you can really have something powerful to move forward and learn and take charge of your own health and the health of your kids and your family. So our bodies, we have trillions of bacteria and viruses and fungi inside and outside our bodies. And then they're having that good balance relationship between them is the best for us. And together, all those create what we call, and you might have heard that more and more lately, is the microbiome in our gut. So the microbiome, their job is to really break down the food that our body is not able to digest, and then produce important nutrients. And it also protects us against harmful germs. So when you think about it, all these guys are inside of us, outside of us. They're protecting us. And we've got to get a good balance of the combination of the bacteria and the viruses and the fungi inside and outside our bodies. The factors that impact the microbiomes are our environment. What is outside in our environment, what we're breathing in, what we're using, any medications that we're taking, especially antibiotics. Is one of the medications. And then also, interestingly enough, as you read about it, whether you were born C-section or not makes a difference, also has an impact on that. And the leading influencer is our diet. And Tania is going to talk more in details about that. But what we're eating, as an example, fresh fruits and vegetables have great fiber and sugars in there that can have a healthy balance for us in microbiome. But then if we eat too much processed food and things like that, then we're offsetting, we're creating an out of balance harmony of those relationships in our gut and our bodies. So from here, and that just kind of gives you, for me, I visualize like all these little guys that I can't even see. They're all over inside and outside my body, and they're protecting us. And what can I do to really give my body the best fighting chance to stay healthy physically and mentally? Because as you're going to talk about, Tania, there's a connection between the healthy gut and the mind.
Yes.
And it's a huge connection. So
it's amazing to think about how, the gut is how we absorb almost all of our nutrients. And if our gut is healthy, we will, as well as our kids, will absorb more nutrients from the food that we eat. So, like Adiba said, that's something that we're going to go into a little bit more and further in the podcast, but huge connection.
As you're talking about that, how, because I know from personal experience, and my experience with my kids, but like when there's a misbehavior that happens with the child, we like right away, I was pushed into modifying the way that I parent the child. It was never brought up to me like what is in their gut. So it's empowering. It's exciting now that we have that, because it's that parents I know that I had so much guilt. It's like I wasn't a good parent because they were telling me what I need to do, but it's not working. And if I had that knowledge of really understanding what's happening in the gut, that would have made a world of difference. So I'm really happy that you're going to be sharing some more of that.
Are you still there? Oh, no, I couldn't. It sounded like you were cut out.
I'm still here. I'm still here. Yeah, no, I just, I know that you're going to be sharing about the gut and the kids' health and emotional and mental well-being. So that's really, I'm ready.
Okay.
Go.
Thank you. Thank you, Adiba. I wasn't sure if it was like a pause when it is cloudy and or rainy or drizzling here in my area, the internet acts a little funny. So I'm always on top of that. So yes, thank you for sharing. But like we were talking about, I'm going to go into a little bit in regards to kids' gut health and how essential it is for them to be happy, healthy, and balanced. And a couple of reasons why it's essential to really help support their health, their gut health. As we said before, the gut is, like, as I just said, the gut is how we absorb almost all of our nutrients. So this is particularly important today because as the nutrient value of the food that our kids eat is not as high, just because everything is so much more processed and it's lower in nutrients. So then, you turn around and you look at what are they actually absorbing from what they eat. Another fact is soil levels are lower in nutrients than in previous generations. The chemicals that we put in our soils, nutrients enter the plants via the soil and enter the animals via the plants that they eat. It's like the circle of life. It's so interesting when you really sit down and think about it, because if the soil is nutrient poor, so is the food. And that's why we always try to look at, whether or not something is actually high quality whole foods or organic. And it can be difficult, to really go food shopping and look for that nowadays, and just realizing how important that is in optimizing the absorption so kids can get the most out of their food, as well as adults. Then there's also, like, for example, kids who experience diarrhea or loose or unformed bowel movements, as we were talking about before, are at a higher risk of poor absorption because they're expelling all of the little bit of the nutrients that they are actually receiving. And it's not in the gut long enough for the full absorption to really take place. So when we talk about elimination, one of the gut's most important jobs is eliminating this waste and deciphering what waste needs to be eliminated, what needs to be passed out on. And if we don't get rid of these toxins regularly, it'll get reabsorbed back into the bloodstream. And this is a big concern for kids who don't have a bowel movement every day. Because once it re-enters, the liver will have to detoxify it again. And this can happen over and over and over again in kids who are especially constipated. And it really it creates extra work for the body, for the liver. It uses up the energy that we need to really support that healthy, healthy body that we have. Yes.
It becomes painful because, I've heard those stories where the child is afraid to go to the bathroom anymore because it's so painful to even have a bowel movement because the stool gets so hard.
Yes, absolutely. And then not only that, but it starts to trickle over in other areas. It starts to affect their immune system and that gut-brain connection that we were talking about. And I don't know how many people know this, but this is such an important fact that I'm moving this little thing out of my face, 70 to 80% of the immune system is located in our gut. It is the main channel for bugs to get into our body. And if it's not strong enough, your child is more likely to pick up every infection that goes around.
Yeah.
It also regulates like the immune system with allergies, food allergies, and intolerances. One of the things that we think about with, allergies with dairy, with, and like Adiba said, this is not medical advice, but it's nice to have the conversation and think about, what is really going on inside of me? Is it something that I need to change what I'm eating? Let me take a whole body system approach and look at it, because the older that we get, the harder it is to really flush out all of those toxins. And it does kind of become a constant balancing act, because it can take a while for the body to get balanced. Yeah. And then once it is, you might have to do it all over again, or, a couple of times a year, or really depending on your system. It's definitely personalized. So I'm just going to move forward into the gut-brain connection, because this is a fascinating area, and there's research is really only starting to come out with the connections. I feel like a lot of this is really like coming out into mainstream, becoming more known. People are starting to do more research, and a healthy gut can help support neurological and mental health. And think about it when you feel like stressed or anxious. Most people feel it in their tummies as well as in their head. So this is like the gut-brain axis at work. When you're stressed out and you start to, I have a headache, like, if little kids say, my tummy hurts, like, try to understand, it's not always something that you ate. You really have to dive into, our brain chemicals, our neurotransmitters, they're all produced in the gut by bacteria. So if the gut is healthy, then we produce more feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin, GABA, and dopamine. And I'm going to go in a few minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit more about serotonin and what are some of the signs that you can look for. But, if the gut is out of balance, the production of these will decline, and then low levels of these chemicals in our bodies are linked to problems like depression, anxiety, behavioral issues, learning difficulties, and so much more. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but one of the, just to clarify real quick, serotonin, for example, serotonin, we're talking about mood today and kids' gut health. Serotonin is a chemical that is thought to regulate anxiety, happiness, and mood. So it carries the messages between our nerve cells into the brain throughout the day. So that gut-brain connection, right? So common signs of low serotonin levels can be anxiety, depression, insomnia, nervousness, sweet cravings, even chronic pain, OCD, headaches, and especially aggressiveness. When we're in a bad mood, especially with kids, just taking a look at what is their current state, and what is their outlook, what is really affecting their mood, their behaviors. And as a society, we're so quick to go to medicine, and sometimes medicine is needed, absolutely, or sometimes it's a balance between 2 or 3 different modalities, and really figuring out what works for them. And so really just helping to prevent or reverse. I'm going to read some fun facts to you, actually. Let me get my paper up, because it talks about what is the future of depression. And within their lifetime, more than 25% of individuals will develop at least one mental or behavioral disorder. By 2020, which we're already a few years past that, but by 2020, depression will have been the second leading cause of medical disability, according to the World Health Organization. 70% of primary care visits are related to psychological issues. And there's been a 400% increase in antidepressant drug usage since 1994. And the last one in 10 Americans, 12 and over, overuse antidepressants. So those are some huge facts. And you know, the focus, there's been such a massive increase in mental health disorders, and the focus of treatment has always been to correct these chemical imbalances and the emotional instability in the brain, you know, which is mainstream. But there's a lot of, you know, as you can see, and as we've been talking about, there's a lot of evidence that really shows that these disorders are not entirely in our heads, but they also live in our bodies. And, you know, taking care of our future generations, really starting with the kids, laying the groundwork, talking to them about how food affects them and helping them to realize how they feel when they eat what they eat. And really becoming mindful and aware of what they're taking in and how it feels in their body is a great way to just start exposing, you know, our children to this. Because
and that's if I can, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to, because when you're saying about helping them understand, what's really important as for a parent, because I'm always reflecting on, you know, what would have helped me is to monitor your kids yourself, because they might not be able to express how they're feeling, but say, you know, today John ate broccoli and cabbage and this and all these vegetables and you know, slept well, and man, the mood was incredible. And then today he's just climbing the walls and all that. What's going on? So as a parent or the adult in the family, when we start monitoring that, will give us so much information also. It's like, oh, you know, every time on Monday morning, you know, the child is like climbing the walls, and on Sundays we go out for pizza and we have soda and we just like splurge with a whole bunch of ice cream because, you know, it's family day together, or, you know, we're out at the park playing sports. Oh, and then Monday I see the difference. So that's, you know, like helping the, you know, as a parent or as the adult to really monitor also, because the child doesn't know necessarily the difference, and then they get frustrated because, you know, the parent is frustrated because now they need to climb up the tallest tree and jump down. And you're like, what's going on? But that's really important, that it's a, you know, and that I wish, you know, I learned to do that, then I would have understood better what was going on also.
Well, and
but,
it's you're absolutely
sorry
right.
for interrupting, but I was like, yeah.
No, I don't mind the interruptions at all. I think it's great to have these conversations. And, you know, as you were talking about that, I don't know if I talked about this in the previous podcast or not, but just from personal experience, you know, I have to tell you a story about my youngest. She's 8 years old, and you know, probably about after the holidays, so probably the beginning of January, around Christmas time, she started saying how she wants to, you know, I want to become better at basketball. I want to get more muscles. My tummy hurts all the time. Like, she came forward herself and just started talking to me about this. And started saying, like, Mama, what can I do? Like, what can I eat? Can you help me? And I almost got a bit emotional there because I'm so proud of her and the progress that she's made. And so I was like, absolutely, like, let's do that.
Awesome.
And it was really talking about it in such a healthy way. She was really starting to pick up a lot of the things that I talk about with the kids, and, you know, just even the older kids. And her main goal, oh, sorry, I think.
Oh, you're good. You were good. No, you muted yourself.
There you go. I don't know what was going. I think I was leaning on it. So her main goal was because she wanted to become stronger and better at a sport that she loves, right?
Yeah.
And so she started making, on her own, she started making choices in what she wanted to eat and what she liked for food. And we kind of slowly integrated certain things. And fast forward to now, almost May, right? It's the end of April. Oh my gosh. I have noticed a change in her, but I haven't said anything. I can definitely see a little bit more, definition in her body, but also for me, the big thing I've noticed is the bloating for her, right? And granted, she has grown a little bit, but I'm saying this because we now go out and I drive back and forth a lot in the afternoons for sports, for kids, for drop-offs, for pickups. I now go out and I also have to plan and bring snacks and food for her because she'll say, I'm hungry. And kind of just to test it, I'm always be like, well, what do you want to get? You want to get some pizza? You want to go by McDonald's? And she's like, no, I don't want any of that stuff. It hurts my tummy. Like she is actually understanding and she literally does not, even at home, I'm a little choppy, but even at home, she's making those decisions. She doesn't run to the pantry and get the cookies and just small steps. I'm so proud of her and knowing that she's done this and we're laying the groundwork because, we all have eating habits that we picked up from when we were young. And I would have loved to have known this information when I was, younger, just because as an adult, it's so much harder to break those habits. So that's what we're here to talk about today is really, the growing amount of processed food and chemicals in our foods. They're just not supplying the necessary nutrients for us to function properly, whether it be our kids, us as adults, just starting somewhere. And if you need to start with your kids or if you need to start with you, make a plan. And there's been a lot of links between mental health and nutrition. And this isn't a new concept. It is very clear that these fundamentals have been kind of like lost in the sea of research, I guess. And it's starting to come up to surface and really focusing on new research and interventions. So on that note, maybe we could talk a little bit about, what to do or how to start, some ideas on, cleaning out your gut and making some changes for the long run.
Yeah, it's and like you've always said, Tania, is that our goal and our vision is to simplify living healthy and in harmony with nature. Never like what works for me whenever I feel overwhelmed, like because there's so much information coming in, is to maybe look at it a little bit different. And it's like, oh, great, there's so much information. And right now I'm going to focus on this and then changing those habits, because the only way to change bad habits is to create good habits. That's the only thing that gets rid of bad habits.
Yeah.
So let's focus on being excited. Like, oh, there is a lot of great information. What am I going to do right this minute? What am I going to do today? And I love that you shared about how your little girl is so in tune with what you're doing. That is so awesome. I mean, that just like literally I just crying from joy, like my eyes tear up, because that's my passion, is that we've got to reach the little ones, because they are our next generation, and it's our place to make that shift, because generations in the past, they did what they did with what they have. And now what we have is we can really transform the health. We've seen our health just decline so much in the last few decades.
And I just want to
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to add to, I want to clarify that, nobody is perfect. None of our lifestyles are perfect. And we all make, don't get me wrong. I don't not eat ice cream with my kids. I don't skip out on that kind of stuff. But seeing her do that, it's funny how it actually makes me stop and think about what I eat in front of her.
Yeah.
And knowing that, like, wow, if she has the power to be able to do this, how can I have no excuse? And that's what empowers me with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, this little kid is like motivating me. I love it.
Isn't that cool how it is a cycle? Like she's inspired by you, and then what she's doing is inspiring you to keep going, and then it's inspiring me. It's like, who else is watching? Because my kids are grown. It's like, oh, by the time if I ever have grandkids, how I can be the grandma that can be inspiring them, and my kids inspire. Like it's really pretty cool. And what, just going back real quick at something you said, how our gut impacts our mood. And I want to point out also that I believe, and I didn't look at any research, but I know growing up, I had a lot of stress because I just had a lot of difficulties with learning. And anyway, just a lot of emotional stuff going on, me emotionally as a little kid. And I believe that contributes to the gut being unhealthy also. So when you're stressed about something, because the fact is that your digestive system does shut down when you're under this fight or flight mode. And if you're in that mode all the time, and as a child not even realizing what that is, then your gut is impacted. So then when the gut is impacted, then it impacts your mood. So it's such a vicious cycle that they both work together to be very aware. So it's not only what we eat and what we don't eat and what we do, but it's also our mood and how we handle stress in our life. If it's constant, then it impacts our gut. So it's definitely a back and forth thing.
Yes, that's a really good point. Thank you, Adiba, for clarifying that further.
Absolutely. Because when you said, oh, my tummy hurts, I remember so many times when I was little, I would like always tell, my tummy hurts. But looking back now is because I literally hated going to school because of just not being able to learn like normal kids.
Yeah.
Discovering later on, having, dyslexia and all that. But it was, if only my mom knew, right? How much could have been prevented instead of me here in my 40s and 50s trying to repair all that. But it's what life is about. And we have a pretty awesome cleanse program from Shaklee, and many of you know that I've been using Shaklee for over 30 years now, and this is a program that is just beautiful to help you clean your gut and give you a clean slate. So we're gonna run a video to explain it really briefly, directly from someone in Shaklee so you can understand it. And then after that, we will just share some testimonies on our end and help you get some, true life testimonies of how we did the cleanse and how it impacted us. So here we go, trying to see if we can find the right video.
Hello, and thank you for learning more about the Shaklee 7-Day Healthy Cleanse. This 7-Day Healthy Cleanse is a first step to a healthier you and has been designed to help you feel better in 7 days. Guaranteed. Sound too good to be true? Well, many have asked the same question. The Healthy Cleanse is a program designed to provide a jumpstart to healthier eating. It helps to reset your palate and rest and rejuvenate your digestive system. That doesn't mean that this program is about depriving. It's really quite the contrary. The Healthy Cleanse consists of eating plentiful amounts of vegetables and fruit. Plus, you'll be eating at least every 2 hours, so you are grazing all day. In addition, you'll be consuming plenty of fluids and supplementing with the Healthy Cleanse supplements, which have been designed to support detoxification and digestive health. These are pre-packed in morning and evening sachets for your convenience and include Optiflora DI Probiotic. It helps to promote healthy intestinal activity and good digestive health. Liver DTX Complex helps maintain normal liver function, including bile flow and protection from toxins. Alfalfa Complex is ultra-pure premium alfalfa and spearmint green superfood abundant in vitamins, minerals, and chlorophyll. And Herblax, a natural, gentle laxative to cleanse the body with a proprietary blend of senna and 8 other complementary herbs. Want to know if the 7-Day Healthy Cleanse is right for you? Well, if you are a healthy individual looking to get healthier by improving your eating habits and supporting your body's detoxification processes and jumpstarting weight loss, then the 7-Day Healthy Cleanse could be right for you. In a preliminary study, 80% of participants experienced improved energy levels and decreased cravings. 72% of participants felt improvement in hunger management. 60% of participants felt improvement in mood, and 74% of participants felt improvement in quality of sleep and clarity of thinking. And if this wasn't enough, results showed an average weight loss of 6.8 pounds and 1.62 inches around the waist. And 94% of participants said that they would do the 7-Day Healthy Cleanse again and recommend it to others. The 7-Day Healthy Cleanse is a jumpstart to a healthier lifestyle and is not intended as a quick fix where you return to your less than healthy lifestyle choices. It's really to help reset your palate so that you fall in love with vegetables and fruits, and then post-cleanse, continue with your clean eating habits. If you are interested in the 7-Day Healthy Cleanse, please speak with the person that shared this video and join the official 7-Day Healthy Cleanse Facebook page. We are so sure and confident that you will feel the Shaklee difference. Unlike all Shaklee products, the Shaklee Healthy Cleanse is 100% guaranteed. We even have an empty package return policy. So if you try it and you aren't satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. It's that simple.
There you have it. I know every time I have done the cleanse, I have gotten better at it and just felt so good. Honestly, the biggest thing would be, and that she talks about the mood in there, and I had forgotten that was one of the things that is right there on the box. It's that clearer thinking and just feeling just good, like it's just I really noticed a huge difference, and it's such a reminder. It's like, okay, it's spring cleaning time, it's fall time. Just get all that, because like you said, you can't help, even when you do your best, there's stuff out there that you'll eat, or even being out in the environment. We talked about that in one of our lives, is just all the car exhaust, how it gets in our body. And so to have a healthy, clean gut. And I do believe, I know it sounds crazy, because when I first heard it about food tastes different. I don't know what you think. Do a cleanse and eating all those vegetables, things taste, it's like your taste buds become more alive or something.
I agree with you. I think the big thing for me is that it helps with the cravings.
Yeah.
The cravings. And then, as we're talking right now, I'm just thinking about how I've had some real difficulties lately, the past month or so, with just sleep. So that would be definitely a benefit to do the cleanse in and of itself. Just helping to kind of reset your mood, your sleep. It all ties into each other. And then, yes, the food tasting, for me, it's really about the cravings, not necessarily focusing on like, this tastes different, but really understanding that, like, oh, like I really want that instead of the other thing I was craving. That's something that I've always noticed.
With the healthy gut, you mentioned how it gives you those cravings and your body wants more sugars, and the real craving when your gut is not healthy, then you're wanting those sugars because that's what they're used to. The gut is used to, like,
it is.
Like, I need more sugar. I need more sugar.
And it's a real addiction. It is. wholeheartedly difficult to, I guess, move away from that and to, I don't want to say detox off of it, but to really focus on. It takes it takes mental fortitude. It takes, you know, a real commitment to it. It's not easy.
That's why a community together with, whether it's 2 or 3 people or more is really powerful. And I know we didn't talk about that, but let's, if anyone out there is interested in doing a cleanse, we'll plan on one maybe starting the week after Mother's Day. That might be a good place to remember. That's coming up in 3 weeks or so.
It's May 8th, actually. It's coming up in 1 week.
Right. Well,
I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was later on for some reason, like the middle of. You're probably right.
It is. It's May 8th.
All right.
Yes.
So what else? Oh, after Memorial Day. When is Memorial Day?
The end of May.
Yeah. What day is that?
It's like the 30th is Memorial Day. That's a Monday.
So maybe as we're talking and, whoever is listening, let's start at the beginning of June. What's the first Monday in June?
June 6th.
And you're going on vacation when?
The 7th.
Oh, this is... And you're like, no way!
But that's okay, because you know what? Vacation does not mean that I have to not eat well and stay on track. It's just being creative with what you do. The only thing I would have to say, though, is that I'm going back to Boston for a few weeks, and I'm going to have a few of my favorite Italian treats. A few of my favorite Italian sweets.
So
but
maybe
other than that,
we can end before Memorial Day. We'll talk about it.
I love
we'll
that.
Share it on Facebook, and so maybe by Memorial Day we will have cleansed, and that will help us make better choices.
Yeah. Into
the summer, and I'll kick off the summer in a good cleanse, clean slate kind of thing.
Yes, I like that. Mm-hmm.
So, we can wrap it up. You and I could talk forever for sure.
I know.
I want to thank everyone that has popped on live, and then if you're listening to our podcast, thank you for being here. This is something that I know I share from my heart, and it always, it makes me feel good that I'm able to share, because I'm always reminded, and I remind myself that those are the things that I would have, that have changed my life, and my hopes is to be able to do that to others as well, because I really believe that every little bit of information is what transforms our life. This is how we make a shift and step into our best selves every single moment, every single day. So thank you for being here, whoever is listening, and thank you for listening. And
thank you.
I'll give it to you, Tania, to wrap it up, kind of whatever you have in your mind to kind of wrap this live up for us.
Yes, I was gonna say I ditto all that, and I just want to wrap it up with the fact that how important it is to just really think about how eating and drinking and how some habits negatively impact our thoughts and actions. And just really being mindful about that. I think that's what it takes, is just that introspection, that self-awareness.
Yeah.
And, even something as, as we talked about, even something as simple as incorporating some breath-centric techniques when you're starting to feel that stress or that craving, and helping your kids adopt some of those techniques as well. How important it is to just reset, and that even just, I cannot stress enough the importance of just taking a minute to breathe, and how much that just changes your mood, really refocuses your body, your brain, that connection, and really just stopping, taking a deep breath, and focusing on what does this serve me? What purpose does it have?
Yeah.
And making that decision, because sometimes that decision is the moment, in the moment works for you, and in other times it doesn't. And just giving yourself just the grace to know that you have the strength and the power in you to know what's right for you and your family, your kids, you know, whoever's in your world.
Yes.
You know, I really, you know, we've come a long way. I think, Adiba. No, not I think. I know we've both come a long way. You know, and it all comes down to self-care and to self-awareness, and that all leads to self-development.
Yep, that's the only way. Is you make that shift. Only good habits.
How we make that shift.
We gotta find good habits to delete the bad ones, and then we make that. So perfect. Thank you, Tania. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time on 1010 Talks.
1010 Talks. Bye, everyone.